Hello student, in this module we have to know the last part of our topic, that is SARC, from the new centers of the power, political science. Here we have to know about the rest past parts of the SARC. So let's start with the first agreement, that is SAFTA. SAFTA is one of the agreement which is done during the time of the SARC, when the SARC is somehow is not able to go through with in a proper way. In that time the two agreement will be done among the 8 countries, that is SAPTA, SAPTA, and one is SAFTA. Here in your NCERT book you have to know about the SAFTA. So here we have to know little bit introductions about the SAFTA. Now SAFTA was the agreement, that is a South Asian Free Trade Area, which was signed on 6th January 2004 during the time of the 12th summit of the SARC, which is held in Islamabad, Pakistan. So basically when in Islamabad, Pakistan, the members of the SARC, they met for doing the group meetings on 6 January 2004. They agreed with one agreement, that is South Asian Free Trade, and this agreement, that was this which is they signed in 2004, that is actually came into force in the society, in their members countries, that is on 1st January 2006. So you can understand them from 6 January 2004 when they signed it, and finally it was come on the 1st January 2006, and on the 1st July 2006 again another agreement was come, that is a trade liberalization program under the SAFTA. SAFTA, actually they wanted to make the SAFTA for it aims at lowering the trade traffic by 20% within 2007. So when they the SAFTA that was came into force in 2006, actually they tried to create this agreement only to give the free trade license among the member countries, so that whatever the tariff, whatever the tax they want to they have to give during the time of their trading import export, so that is totally somehow a little bit be reduced, and due to this reduction of the tariff somehow their production will be increased, and they get a money from that. So their aim to it's to lowering down the tax up to 20% in within the 2007. Now the idea behind the SAFTA is that a new era of relationship of peace and cooperation will be emerged if South Asian countries allow free trade among their borders. See, during the SARC, we all know that somehow some countries, which is the member of the countries, they have little bit problems among their interdisciplinary. Like if we are taking example of Pakistan and India. So they are totally have an internal dispute. So it is think that after the signing of the SAFTA, it's create whenever the business or the trade that will be increased, the free trade that will be allowed by each and everyone's country among them, then maybe the their relationship will be improved, and they created peace and cooperation, because everyone are benefited from the free trade among the members, so maybe they will reduce the conflict among them. The interdependence would actually migrated conflicts in this region, but some neighbor fear that the India are thinking that if this will be created, then maybe due to the interdependence, as due to the free trade, every countries have to depend on another country due to this reason. So maybe due to this interdependence, their business policy will be raised and their relation also will be improved. But some member countries, they thought that or you can say they are in a very fear, in a very worried that maybe India is try to create this kind of agreement only to capture their market, only to erase their market from the different countries, and they wanted to influence the society and political thoughts with their commercial, with their business policy, with their production. So with this fear, the others country, the neighborhood countries of the India, they don't wanted to create this kind of agreement, they don't wanted to run this kind of agreement. Now, what was the obstacles or achievement we get to establish the peace and cooperation after the SAFTA? We have to know. You all know that some are feeling that the SARC had not been so successful as the regional organization because it is somehow overshadowed by the Indo-Pak politics. We all know that Indian and Pakistan relation is not very good. Though India and Pakistan are the member of the SAARC and many other proposals, but still we have a problem. So some are feeling that, some members are feel that this SAARC is totally wasted, it is not get success only due to the problem which is arises in India Pakistan politics. But we cannot say that the India is not try to cope up with that. Even along with the India, some others some others big members of the countries, they also try to solve out the problems, and they try to give the way of the friendship with India and Pakistan. And due to this reason, Pakistan and India, among them so many bus routes are opened up so that their relation should be okay. So many trade and business agreement will be done so that the Punjabs and the Lahore, they get the productions, they get the crop seeds easily in a reasonable manner. Even some kind of trains are also opened up, train routes for them. Water agreement are also done. So many agreements are created only to keep in mind that maybe the India-Pak relation will be improved. But due to this India-Pak's political problem, this shadow was fallen upon the SAARC, and due to that reason, somehow the SAARC cannot get a successful regional organization. Even this is somewhat true that since the past experience, we can see that during the meeting of the SAARC, the peoples try to reduce the problems of the Indo-Pak by making them friendship, by keeping the way so that they will be doing the lots of cooperations and agreement. Only within this only all the meetings are engaged, and they are not actually are creating any kind of other agreement related to their development. All the countries are engaged for facilitating the Indo-Pak issues. And China and USA are also playing a key role in the South Asian politics. How we can say that? You all know that USA, after the World War, it was increased its regime very much, because after the Cold War, only the one superpower will be the USA. So it will be somehow developed, it will be somehow involved in this kind of different regions in any countries, and USA are working as a mediator in Pakistan India, because somehow the USA is also have a good relation with India as well as with the Pakistan. So for that reason, somehow the USA don't wanted to create any kind of problem between them. So they wanted to create the relationship and work as a mediator to create the friendship among the India and Pakistan. Even Indo-India relations have also improved significantly in the last 10 years. Before that, the China relation, you all know that whenever you read in the China relation, Sino-India relation in the previous topic, so there you can observe that in the last 10 years, somehow the China-India relations are very much increased. But China's strategic partnership with the Pakistan is remains same. Though the China-India relationship are improved, the China's capture the market of the India, we are doing the business with the China, but still the China is always supporting the Pakistan, and its strategies towards the Pakistan against the India, that is remains same. And in the recent years, India has shifted its attention from the SAARC, because India know that SAARC is somehow is not getting a successful reason. It is not going in a long-term basis due to this kind of different disputes, internal disputes. So for that reason, the India try to concentrate on the others organization also, which is created by the South Asian region. So these are the obstacles and the achievement what we created during the time of the SAARC along with the peace and cooperation policy. Now we have to know little bit the hurdles of the SAARC, though this portion is not in your NCERT book, but whenever you know about the SAARC, you should know that what is the challenges or what is the hurdles came in the path of the SAARC. See, the SAARC was not successful. There are so many reasons. So many challenges are there in front of the SAARC successfulness path. So the first one is low frequency of meeting. The members are not frequently they are doing the meetings and discuss about their agreement. So they are very low frequency. They are very low chances for doing the meeting, and that's why the problem arises. Misunderstandings are there. Interstate disputes in South Asia, all the South Asia's countries are the members, they have really their problems arises because they have the internal issues with their member states only. Fear of Indian dominations. Everyone are feared about the India domination, that they think that India may be doing any kind of agreement so that the India will be dominated the others country like Sri Lanka's, Maldives or the Pakistan. So due to this fear, they don't wanted to create any kind of agreement. Unstable financial position, as due to the less meetings, as due to the less discussion, the internal problems are there. So for that reason, somehow it is the developing countries, you all know that, and the poverty lines are more here in this members countries, and the population is huge. So for that reason, they don't have any financial or stability among the financial position. Lack of trust among the members. The South Asian members, they are not even trusting with each other because they have internal disputes, and that's why they are not trusting with each other, and that is the reason why the challenges come in front of the success of the SAARC. Different political systems. South Asian countries are not exactly all the countries are same, because if I am giving an example that China, they have some kind of authoritarian types of democracy, and our country is a fully democratic country. Pakistan is a transitional democracy. So due to this different kinds of political systems, somehow they are not cope up with each other. So these are some of the hurdles which we have to know whenever we have to learn the SAARC, and that is the challenges and hurdles of the SAARC. So I hope you all understand about the SAARC, its background history, the agreement SAFTA, which is in your NCERT book, and peace and cooperation system, which also in your NCERT book. One last conclusion, what I want think that if the SAARC goes on in a long term way with clearing its all challenges and not to be misunderstand each other's members and solving its internal problems, then the SAARC will be the strongest one, just like a EU and the ASEAN, because you all know that whenever you plant a tree, whenever you plant, you are copying a plant, then up to the journey from the plant to tree, it gets a time, and that time we should be give to that little plant. So for that reason, we can say that the SAARC also need that little attention, that little cooperation, then only it will be arises just like a Asian and European. So for that reason, if the member state will give a actual timing attention over the SAARC and its meetings and its discussions, its agreement, then of course SAARC will get us huge success in a long term basis. So till that we finished our chapter, that is the new centers of power, along with finishing the SAARC last part. I hope you all understand about that chapter, new centers of power, which is the topic which is in we have in 2021 curriculum syllabus of political science. Go through with the videos and the NCERT books so that you will understand more in a clear cut, and I hope you all understand all the topics. In our next video, we are starting our new chapter, that is the international organizations according to the new syllabus. Till that, thank you so much, and hope you cleared your concept.